On this Wednesday night, NAFTA negotiations may be tearing them apart on trade, but when it comes to soccer today, the U.S., Mexico, and Canada were all hugs. We'll look at the challenges facing this country as it gets set to co-host the World Cup in 2026, and the powerful message from an emerging star.
Also tonight, the Minister of Foreign Affairs takes Canada's trade fight back to Washington, and we take you inside a famous Canadian concert venue, revered by musicians the world over, but now it's set for an extended silence. What makes Toronto's majestic Massey Hall so special, and what changes are in store? This is The National.
The Winter Olympics are big, the Summer Games even more so, but many consider the FIFA World Cup to be the biggest international sporting event of them all. Tens of thousands of fans in the stands for each game, 3.5 billion watching on TV, and it's coming here.
And the vote starts now. You have 15 seconds.
FIFA held a high-stakes vote for the 2026 World Cup host and, as usual, presented it with all the tension of a bachelorette finale. Winning the final rose, an unprecedented three-country bid.
The member associations of Canada, Mexico, and USA have been selected by the FIFA Congress to host the 2026 FIFA World Cup.
So 2026 will be a North American affair. 60 games planned for the U.S., 10 each for Mexico and Canada. The tournament will add 12 teams for a total of 48. Though not guaranteed, Canada, as one of the hosts, is expected to participate.
On the World Cup, I think it's good news that Canada will be in the World Cup in 2026 and also hosting a number of the games. It's an opportunity to bring the world together and highlight how well things work between Canada, Mexico, and the United States.
Note the not-so-subtle reference to ongoing trade differences there. U.S. President Donald Trump, for his part, expressing his congratulations in a low-key tweet. Fans might see the World Cup in terms of goals and glory, but organizers also have to consider the dollars and cents. North America's joint bid promised $11 billion in profits for FIFA. Host countries are expecting billions more in economic benefits, but as Salima Shivji explains, you have to spend money to make money.
To host the 2026 FIFA World Cup.
Cheers and hugs all around in Moscow today. Enthusiasm echoed on the streets of Toronto.
It's huge. I mean, football is one of the most commonplace sports, and to host that here in Toronto would be incredible. It just brings all the cultures together and causes a great buzz.
Aimed in for Kutsa!
Goals like this one, watched by billions, translate into a clear economic boost for host cities.
We're also going to see the tourist sector energize, the hotel business and others, as we have thousands of people coming to Toronto.
We've estimated the returns, the financial returns, at around $200 million. So it's great for tourism in Montreal.
But at what cost? Toronto's stadium isn't big enough. It needs about 10,000 more seats to meet FIFA's requirements. Montreal's Olympic Stadium has enough seats, but it's in notoriously bad shape, still waiting on a new roof. Plus, the playing surface is all wrong for FIFA's needs.
They ask for a grass field, and here it's an artificial field. And they need an openness at the roof.
Over in Edmonton, the third potential host city, the mayor says improvements to the stadium are already in the works.
A lot of them are consistent with things we need to do with the 50-year-old stadium anyway to keep it current. So those aren't a hindrance for us at all.
The upgrades add up to between 30 and 70 million per city, and that's not including the huge security costs. Experts say all the power stays in FIFA's hands.
FIFA draws up extremely one-sided contracts, and one of the things that they look at, one of the things that they can do is that they can change their side of the contract at any time. The one thing it does guarantee is that it will take its profit tax-free from Canada, the United States, and Mexico.
That's precisely why BC officials balked and pulled Vancouver out of the World Cup bid a few months ago, a move they defended today.
We can't write a blank check to FIFA for unknown costs.
Leaving Vancouver watching from the sidelines while 3 other Canadian cities rejoice as they wait for official approval from FIFA, whatever the cost. Salima Shivji, CBC News, Toronto.
Canada may be co-hosting the World Cup, but these days, our soccer isn't exactly world-class. Host countries are usually granted entry into the tournament, so in 2026, Canada could be fielding a World Cup team for the first time in 40 years. But will it be ready? Rafi Boudjikanian takes us into Canadian soccer's efforts to up its game.
Wind or calm, rain or shine, Prince Amanda trains. He's been doing it since he was 4 years old. For now, he's hoping to catch on with FC Edmonton, a brand new team in a brand new Canadian Premier League. It wants to train the country's next generation of elite players in time for 2026. Amanda wants to be right there.
It would mean that all the hard work that I put in through the years, the sweat, the tears, everything, it would mean a lot.
But other homegrown future pro hopefuls are finding their loyalties tested. Luis Martinez is proud of his native Mexico, a traditionally competitive team in a way Canada is not.
I was born in Mexico, but more than half my life has been in Canada. So, I don't know, it'll be a tough decision.
Top Canadian players have decided to leave before. Take Calgary's Owen Hargreaves. He was a world-class talent, but he chose to play for England in the 2002 and 2006 World Cups. And that highlights a big challenge facing Canadian soccer. The country hasn't qualified since 1986, failing to score in 3 games.
1-0 Hungary.
In order to train better players, Canada will need high-level coaching.
The coach education system's all being looked at, and I can just see in working with coaches and players that have the great opportunity to do so, things are getting better.
The man in charge of grooming a potential World Cup team sees no pressure in today's FIFA decision, just opportunity. John Herdman led the Canadian women to Olympic bronze twice. He knows there's work to do, but believes just winning the World Cup bid will inspire a generation.
The opportunity to represent this country in your home city, in your own country, with everyone behind you, those things are what dreams are made of.
But Herdman's got even bigger ambitions, to qualify the men for the World Cup in Qatar 4 years from now, hoping to set the team up for success when the eyes of the world turn to Canada in 2026. Rafi Boudjikanian, CBC News, Edmonton.
Before today's vote, Canada, U.S., and Mexico's joint bid made presentations to try to convince FIFA's delegates, and one stood out, a speech from a 17-year-old member of Canada's men's national team.
My name is Alfonso Davies. My parents are from Liberia and fled the Civil War. I was born in Ghana in a refugee camp. It was a hard life. But when I was 5 years old, a country called Canada welcomed us in. And the boys on the football team made me feel at home. I'm a proud Canadian citizen. And my dream is to someday compete in the World Cup, maybe even in my hometown of Edmonton. I played matches in Canada, Mexico, and the United States. The people in North America have always welcomed me. If given the opportunity, I know they'll welcome you. Thank you.
Davies has attracted international attention from soccer scouts for his aggressive, hard-charging style. Beyond the national men's team, he also plays professionally for the Vancouver Whitecaps.
Let's take a look at what else we're working on tonight. Revealing testimony today at the Elizabeth Wettlaufer inquiry. Why a fellow nurse once called the serial killer an angel of death, even while she was still on the job.
And a brutal late spring frost has wiped out more than half of Nova Scotia's wild blueberries. You'll hear from farmers who are now facing some very difficult choices.
First, though, the Foreign Affairs Minister is back in Washington and taking the high road, refusing to engage in any insults or mudslinging, and instead appealing to fellow legislators to join her bid to get those punishing steel and aluminum tariffs lifted. Chrystia Freeland was warmly received by a bipartisan U.S. Senate committee. And as Katie Simpson tells us, some of its Republican members made some of the strongest anti-Trump arguments.
The Foreign Affairs Minister has spent the last 18 months dealing with Donald Trump. And tonight, she was honored for her efforts, named Foreign Policy Magazine's Diplomat of the Year. Chrystia Freeland used the spotlight to pitch Canada's anti-tariff message, praised free trade and democracy, while also taking a shot at the U.S. president's style of chaotic governance.
Facts matter. Truth. Truth matters. Competence and honesty among elected leaders and in our public service matter.
Mrs. Freeland.
Freeland is in D.C. to repair Canada's bruised relationship with the United States. She quickly found sympathy on Capitol Hill from influential lawmakers who also opposed tariffs on Canadian steel and aluminum.
This is a critically important ally to the United States, and you don't give your back of the hand to some of your closest allies.
Can you imagine being in Canada, our closest ally on the planet, and to be told that they represent a national security threat? That's insulting. It really is. And so I frankly commend Canada for its measured and sober response to this.
While these lawmakers are comfortable criticizing Trump, another senator called out the ones who aren't.
We might poke the bear. The president might get upset with us.
Republican Bob Corker shamed his colleagues on the floor of the Senate for not standing up to Trump's tariff plan.
We're in a strange place. I mean, it's almost, it's becoming a cultish thing.
And Katie is in Washington tonight. So, Katie, for all the times Freeland has repeated the same message, is there any sign it's resonating with Donald Trump?
That's what makes this situation so difficult, Andrew. Other than Donald Trump himself, no one really understands whether this message is getting through. That's why Canada is trying to lobby as many people around the president as it can in the hopes that if he reaches out for advice, that he'll take Canada's side.
So what's next for Freeland?
Chrystia Freeland goes directly to the Trump administration tomorrow. She has a high-profile meeting with Robert Lighthizer. He is the U.S. trade representative. He makes all of the American decisions about NAFTA. After that, Chrystia Freeland heads back to Canada, where she'll try to reassure the Canadian public. She meets with Ontario Premier-elect Doug Ford to show a two-party strength behind Canada's position against these tariffs.
Okay, Katie Simpson in Washington. Thanks very much. Now, Katie referred to Chrystia Freeland's acceptance speech tonight. She did touch on Canada's current trade dispute with the U.S., but her overall message was more wide-ranging and direct, arguing that the U.S. should not abandon its allies nor its history. Here's a short excerpt.
You may feel today that your size allows you to go mano a mano with your traditional adversaries and be guaranteed to win. But if history tells us one thing, it is that no one nation's preeminence is eternal. That is why the far wiser path and the more enduring one is to strengthen our existing alliance of liberal democracies, to reform and renew the rules-based international order that we have built together, and in so doing, to require that all states, whether democratic or not, play by these common rules.
And one final note here. Interestingly, Freeland did not mention the current U.S. president by name, but she did reference two of the Republican Party's most famous presidents, Ronald Reagan and Abraham Lincoln. Well, in Ontario, we heard chilling revelations today at the public inquiry into the crimes of Elizabeth Wetlaufer. She's the former nurse who murdered 8 elderly residents of long-term care facilities. One startling bit of testimony we heard, that a nursing colleague once called her an angel of death, even as she continued to work and managed to keep killing for years, despite many red flags. John Lancaster is at the inquiry in St. Thomas, Ontario.
Karen Rutledge has described firsthand the personal and professional mess that was Elizabeth Wetlaufer. On the witness stand today, Rutledge described a conversation she had with another co-worker who expressed haunting concerns about Wetlaufer.
Do you remember another staff member ever referring to Miss Wetlaufer as an angel of death?
Yes. She had been overheard saying to a palliative resident that it was okay to die.
At the time, the conversation went unreported to authorities. It wasn't the only red flag that was missed. Rutledge testified about the sudden and unexpected death of Maureen Pickering, who fell ill during one of Wetlaufer's many night shifts. A doctor who tried to save Pickering advised the care home the death didn't appear normal and that it might be a good idea to call the coroner on this one. It was Wetlaufer herself who passed the message on to Rutledge.
I called the coroner's office, the 1-800 number, regarding concerns I had. They had discovered an unexplained, extremely low blood sugar.
It was a potential clue that Pickering may have been suffering from an insulin overdose. That's how Wetlaufer later revealed she killed her victims. Yet the coroner decided no investigation was required. This lawyer represents the families of 4 of Wetlaufer's victims.
We're starting to add up all of the pieces. Any individual piece alone may not trigger anything, but certainly the accumulation of them would have shown that there was a large problem at this home.
Wetlaufer's crimes were finally uncovered in 2016 when she checked herself into a mental health facility and confessed. More of her former colleagues are expected to testify here in the coming days. John Lancaster, CBC News, St. Thomas, Ontario.
And so, Ian, we are likely to learn more about this disturbing series of events as the inquiry continues. But now you're looking at a plea from healthcare professionals that could save lives.
Well, let's start with an unsettling fact. An average of 26 Canadians died from colorectal cancer every day last year. It is the second leading cause of cancer death in this country. That's behind lung cancer. And yet there is a simple way for many people to decrease that risk. The Canadian Cancer Society says if caught at stage 1, the 5-year survival rate is close to 90%. But a new report shows not enough Canadians are doing the screening. Almost 50% of cases are diagnosed at stage 3 and 4 after the disease has spread and chances of survival have plummeted. There are all kinds of reasons why people might not get tested: a lack of awareness, a fear of getting bad news, and of course, squeamishness. The question is, how do we change that? And joining me now is Leah Smith, Senior Manager of Surveillance at the Canadian Cancer Society. I think the first thing we should point out to people is this is not the test they might be thinking of.
That's right. I think when most people think about colorectal cancer screening, they're thinking about the colonoscopy. But nowadays, what we're using is a stool test. And this is a relatively easy test that can often be done in the comfort of your own home.
So the colonoscopy, you know, as someone in my 50s, I kept hearing, 50 was the kind of magic age to start being concerned about that. Same thing with this test, right? Let's talk about the age range and who should be getting it.
So we recommend that all Canadians aged 50 to 74 years of age who are at average risk of colorectal cancer get screened using the stool test every 2 years.
So here's the key point in all of this. Like some things to reduce your cancer risk, it means a huge change in lifestyle, a challenge, that people might not be able to make. Here, if you do this early screening, the point of these statistics is that it really makes a big difference.
Absolutely. So what we see with colorectal cancer is that when it's diagnosed early, survival rates reach 90%. And this compares to detecting it late when survival rates are less than 15%. One of the great things about colorectal cancer screening is that it not only helps detect cancers earlier, but it can also detect precancerous changes that can be treated so that you prevent the cancer from happening altogether.
So we have all these medical jurisdictions across the country, but in all of them, all the provinces and territories, if you're in that group, 50 and between 50 and 74, you can get this test done?
Absolutely. So there are organized colorectal cancer screening programs in most provinces and territories, but regardless of where you are, you can get screened for colorectal cancer. You just speak with your healthcare provider to learn more.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.
Still ahead tonight on The National, it's a seemingly simple solution to a deadly problem. How police in Montreal are hoping to save the lives of those people they confront head on.
And as one of Canada's most celebrated concert halls prepares to go silent, we talk to some of this country's biggest artists about the magic of Massey Hall.
Massey Hall, for Ontarian, Canadian, was a legendary building. And I saw so many heroes here that the idea of playing here was sort of incomprehensible.
Tonight on The National, tragic new details about this week's deadly apartment fire in North Vancouver. The man who lost his wife and 8-year-old son in the fire spoke to CBC News today from his hospital bed, and he described the moment he realized he had to flee without them.
I tried to go back to the living room, to the bedroom,
maybe I can push them out. But the blaze was so strong, send me back to the balcony. And balcony was so hot at that time, I just managed to jump.
He was taken to hospital with severe burns after Monday's fire, and he's set to undergo surgery tomorrow. His older son, who also survived, has since been released from hospital. And quite the scene today in downtown Toronto. Take a look at what happened inside the Eaton Centre. Water gushing in through the light fixtures as a powerful storm swept through the city. Outside the mall, there was more damage with toppled trees and downed power lines. The storm then moved east towards Ottawa and Gatineau. Environment Canada is warning people there that wind gusts could hit up to 100 kilometers an hour. Now, over in the Maritimes, it's frost, not thunderstorms, causing damage. A drastic drop in temperature has had a catastrophic effect on many crops there. The CBC's Kayla Hounsell has more from the heart of blueberry country.
The Millen family has decided this is their only option. They're mowing down their blueberry field and starting over. They say there's not much to salvage after a late frost damaged most of their crop.
Fairly large impact considering you're working on not much margin to start with.
In fact, growers estimate 50 to 60% of wild blueberry crops across Nova Scotia have been lost.
I almost feel bad to be walking through this like this.
No, you can't hurt anything. They're pretty well toasted.
Just down the road from the Millens, Joe Slack has also lost a great deal.
We had temperatures between -4 and -6, and it lasted roughly about 5-6 hours.
On top of that, blueberry prices have been very low over the past 2 years. So in many cases, producers' cash reserves are low or non-existent.
It's turned black, so we know that's dead.
This is like right inside
Yeah,
there.
right inside is black. Now what you want that to be nice and green.
The berry is one of the province's largest agricultural exports, with sales of $66 million last year.
It's a significant loss, and it not only affects these farmers, but the people they employ, people they buy materials, products from, so it has a serious effect on the rural economy.
And wild blueberries weren't the only crop damaged by the frost. Across the Maritimes, apples, strawberries, plums, asparagus, you name it, all took a significant hit.
Oh, it'll be a struggle, so this will drag into 2 or 3 years before we get worked out of it.
The Millens have strawberries too. They lost some to frost. They managed to save some with an irrigation protection system, but there's a downside to that too. The water can cause fruit rot.
It means we might have to restructure and do things a little differently, figure out how we're going to get through this year. It's going to be tough.
Many farmers don't have frost insurance. Because this kind of event is so rare, they say it's not worth the money.
Will rain help you at all?
No, not really. I don't think there's much now that can help.
The only possibility now is to move on and hope for a good crop next year. Kayla Hounsell, CBC News, East Mines, Nova Scotia.
Up next on The National, it is both intimate and iconic. And at 124 years old, Massey Hall is ready for a renovation. We'll talk to Canadian musicians about their fondest memories on the legendary stage.
All of my favorite concerts were in this room. You know, I've been to amazing shows all over the world, but all of my favorite shows were in this room.
Montreal has the Rialto Theatre. Vancouver, the Orpheum, beautiful, historic concert halls. And for Toronto, that place is Massey Hall, a stage on which musicians aspire to perform. Next month, it closes for 2 years of extensive renovations, but tonight, we want to take you inside one of this country's great venues.
Good evening. Tonight, we invite you into the home of the Toronto Symphony.
This was the place, man. This is like when you've played Massey Hall, you've arrived.
The room makes me smile because it's mixed up with so many great memories, both as a fan and as a performer.
When you get on that stage, you know that, you're playing with the big cats. Like, this is where history was made in your industry. Some amazing shows have happened here.
Imagine if Hart Massey could hear those voices today speak with such reverence about the gift he gave the city of Toronto almost 125 years ago. a memorial to his son who died at the age of 36. A concert hall that was also meant as a town hall, a secular space to celebrate not just music, but speeches and sport.
This is the hallway into Centuries, and what we've done is pulled up old programs, newspaper clippings, photographs.
It's a hall of fame of musical stars, from the most Canadian of performers to the man who was once the world's most famous singer. Tickets for Enrico Caruso's final concert here in 1920 cost the equivalent of a month's salary for a laborer.
And there were many people who either couldn't afford the $8 to come and see him play or couldn't get a ticket even if they could. And such was the crowd outside of Massey that he came out onto the fire escapes and sang an aria at the end of the concert for the crowd that was assembled below.
To walk around is to feel the history of this place, but you can see it too. No one questions the need for a renovation here, but some are worried about what that might do to the essence of the hall.
You always want a sound for the audience to be great, and I hope they don't ruin that.
Gordon Lightfoot knows what's at stake. He's played here more than any headliner, more than 160 times. Now, almost 80, he's about to perform what's become an annual series of concerts in a place that feels like home. This over here. One of the things that I found interesting is you walk in your front door, and here we go, 2 images of Massey Hall inside and out.
You can hardly really tell what this is, but it's the interior. You got to get right in there. Of course, we loved going there because it was like we'd made it through another year of living, of playing and performing.
Do you remember the first time you were on stage, that Kiwanis Music Festival?
Oh, yes, absolutely. I was 13, and I knew I was going to be singing that evening, and I was kind of nervous. And I walked all over the place. I walked upstairs and downstairs, and it sure felt different. It felt big, too. It felt like something really important, which it was.
So I'm just wondering, somebody who's watching now, who will be watching this in Calgary, let's say, or St. John's, Newfoundland, and they're going, Massey Hall, like what's so special about Massey Hall? What would you say to them?
There's something charming about the old place. I mean, it's got a great sound. I mean, it has a wonderful ambient sound.
You can hear that wonderful ambient sound for yourself in a series of recordings. The greatest jazz concert ever.
Oh man, look at my life.
Neil Young, live at Massey Hall, 1971. And Rush, All the World's a Stage.
It was the first time we'd recorded live, so the first time the recording truck was going during a performance, so it makes you hyper aware of every note you play.
Now you guys are an arena rock group. I mean, you know, in terms of like the sound is so big, what do you have to do? Bring the volume from 11 down to 8 when you're here?
No, we didn't do that. It's truth. The truth is that it is a tough building for a really loud band like us, and the sound pressure level is quite intense. So we sound very loud in here.
What did it mean to you to play here?
Oh, it was ginormous for me, personally. My bandmates, too. Massey Hall, for Ontarian, Canadian, was a legendary building. And I saw so many heroes here that the idea of playing here was sort of incomprehensible. So the first time you do load in and you actually play, it's tremendously thrilling. This has always been Canada's special music hall, just like Carnegie is to New Yorkers, and you know, the Royal Albert Hall is to Londoners.
I love the connection between Rush and Bare Naked Ladies. Ed Robertson tells the story, in fact he told us the story, of getting a bottle of champagne from you when they had, I think it was a 4-night stand here.
Right.
With that 4-night stand, Bare Naked Ladies broke Rush's record for consecutive concert nights.
This champagne came with a card and it was a congratulatory card. It said, "You're only supposed to do 3 nights, boys." And I carried that bottle of champagne around for about 2 hours between sound check and the show and explained to everybody, "It's from Rush. Rush sent us champagne."
It was sort of a record at the time for a rock band. We were just proud of them.
And in case you think the old hall's appeal is lost on a new generation of musicians, listen to the Good Lovelies, who played here for the first time just a few weeks ago.
They don't always get a chance, because where my microphone is, I don't always get a chance to fully look at Caroline and Sue on stage, but tonight it was like I didn't want to stop watching you. Because I was like, you're on the Massey Hall stage. Well, I am too! Oh my God!
We've definitely played bigger places than this, but it's so legendary that it's like, it feels so much bigger than it is.
There are a lot of people out there, but yeah, it's that it sort of goes up rather than out. So everybody's right there. There are a lot of them, but they're all, it's actually quite an intimate room from the stage, and that was a really nice thing. Yeah.
So Massey Hall's magic lives on, but it's showing those 124 years. And so, funded largely by the federal and provincial government, the reno will be extensive. So you have this awesome Lego model.
It's pretty incredible.
It is incredible. It will take more than 2 years. There will be new washrooms, 2 new performance spaces. The seats will be changed, and about 100 original stained glass windows, covered up long ago to keep out street noise, will be restored. All while trying to preserve what has made this National Historic Site so beloved by so many performers.
So will there be a change? Probably, but what we're hoping is that it's a change for the better, and that the acoustics in the hall fine-tune what's already an incredible instrument, which is the original auditorium.
Shortly after Gordon Lightfoot's concerts in July, Massey Hall will close its doors. The new look, with that old sound, will be revealed in the fall of 2020. And tomorrow, Toronto Mayor John Tory will declare Massey Hall Day in this city as the building itself turns 124 years old. With all that history, we ended up with a lot more material than you just saw. So we packaged it and put it on our YouTube channel. And if you're watching us now on YouTube or Facebook, you'll see it in a moment during the break.
I'll go there right now. And right after the break, we will show you the change Montreal police have made in the hopes of saving the lives of the very people they confront.
They're not like rough and tough as they used to be. They'll offer choices to the person. You know, you can either leave on your own or we can help you out. So instead of just barging in, grabbing and leaving. Which is what they used to do. That's what it used to be. That's what they're trained to do.
It's a sad reality in this country, but when a person with a mental illness finds themselves in a confrontation with police, the situation can escalate quickly and sometimes turn deadly. Earlier this year, a CBC News investigation found that between 2000 and the end of last year, 461 people died during interactions with police across Canada. Of those, almost half struggled with mental health issues. And previous studies have shown those living on the streets are among the most vulnerable. Now, in Montreal, there was one particular encounter last year where a man died that prompted the city to search for solutions. It led to simple changes that both shelter workers and police believe hold great promise. Here's senior investigative correspondent Diana Swain.
Just steps from her door north of Montreal, Carol Fortin finds a walk along the water is serene and calm. It's the way she likes to remember her son, Jimmy. That's him on the left. Long after he'd grown into a man, she still looked out for him. Jimmy needed that, sometimes living with her, sometimes on his own.
Jimmy était d'une façon, lui, qui était un gentleman de la rue.
The streets of Montreal were his other home. For 11 years, on and off, he'd sought shelter and food at the old brewery mission.
J'ai dit, pourquoi Jimmy, t'aimes ça, tenir dans... Comment ça se fait que Tu sais, qu'est-ce qui t'attire, là, Jim? Puis là, il me dit, Ma'am, j'aime Montréal, puis tout ça, mais aussi, ces gens-là, ils m'ont sauvé la vie, man. Fait que c'est pour ça que ça me fait du chagrin que c'est là qu'il a perdu.
In fact, he lost his life just outside the doors of the shelter in January 2017. Montreal police suspected he'd stabbed someone nearby. They weren't badly injured, but when police found Jimmy, the confrontation was quick and, for him, deadly. This is a scenario that's played out beyond Montreal. As a CBC News investigation revealed earlier this year, over the past 2 decades, many of the people who've died in confrontations with police had mental health problems. Jimmy's had shown up in his teens, schizophrenia. He had run-ins with police, but in the community of people he met at the mission, he felt comfortable. It's where he went that day. A security camera shows police arriving to question Jimmy. He tries to walk away, then drops what he's holding and fishes a knife out of his pocket. Only seconds after rounding the corner and out of the frame of the camera, investigators say he lunged at officers. He was shot and killed.
This is the epicenter of homelessness in Montreal.
Matthew Pierce runs the mission and says Jimmy's death felt too familiar. That's because he was the 4th homeless person killed by Montreal police in recent years.
You can tell even from the section of videotape that you have that what transpired really quickly.
Very quickly. They came out guns drawn, more or less. They didn't come out and say, let's have a conversation. He looks dangerous, we better draw our guns.
It's the speed with which things spun out of control that Pierce says he'd seen too many times. An ill and frightened person who didn't know how to react to police, and officers trained to act quickly and decisively to contain a situation. It pushed him to insist that things change. The key, he believes, is giving an agitated person time to calm down, to really hear what's being said to them, to control their responses. Those who knew Jimmy well, like Jean Demers, who works at the shelter, believe that given more space and time, Jimmy would have handed over the knife.
He's good friends for me too, though. I don't have a problem for this guy. You know, like he said, you have a knife. Me, I come to her, he said, you gave me the knife, he gave me that.
Pierce and the then chief of police in Montreal agreed there were lessons in what the tape shows. And what's unfolded in the months since are changes designed to see if they can prevent it happening again. Police officers have started taking shifts serving meals, not in street clothes, but in uniform, to try to make it seem less threatening. And by the end of June, more than 1,000 new police recruits and veterans will have taken a class put together with help from the shelter. Lessons range from dispelling stereotypes about homelessness to how to talk to someone who's ill and agitated.
It sort of begs the question, why is it taking this long to get here if the solutions are simple?
Maybe when the first person was killed, I should have done what I did when the 4th person was killed and demand a meeting with the police chief. Maybe that might have led to different outcomes for Jimmy Cloutier and other people. It's a hard question you ask, and I think there's no good answer except we should have done it earlier, we didn't, so let's get to it now.
Hi, Carlo.
Hi, what's her name?
Carlo.
Carlo, too?
Police officers like Carlo DeAngelis say there's a growing recognition that some calls are simply going to take longer to resolve successfully.
Normally, you go on a regular call, it might take you 15, 20 minutes. With somebody that had mental issues, maybe it'll take an hour, 15 minutes, and it's okay. You know, you got to make the person feel comfortable and go at their pace.
Officers have started stopping by the shelter, not to answer a call, but to have a coffee. Staff like Vincent Osrout say the reaction to police being in the shelter has changed.
It's changed a lot in the sense that we communicate a lot more with them. They're more present and don't know how to qualify it, but they're more decent in a sense that they take more time now.
Much of the discussion about what to learn from Jimmy Cloutier's death has happened without his mother's input. She hasn't been able to bring herself to read any of the accounts of what happened, but she's glad others have.
Ces personnes-là, ils ont des mamans, puis ils ont des frères, des familles. Et puis oui, c'est important qu'il y ait une différence. Parce qu'il y aurait eu le droit de vivre encore. Moi, je l'attends encore. Je l'attends encore. Je le vois dans sa chambre, je le vois tout partout.
I think of Jimmy when I walk past here, as I'm sure many of the other people who use our services do. So he's not forgotten, and maybe in some way we could hope that he would have, if he knew that his death was going to bring this kind of an outcome, he might feel that his life had some meaning after all.
An independent investigation into the shooting has been finished but not made public. No one has been charged. Instead, it's likely his story will be remembered less for what happened the day he died, but for what came after. Diana Swain, CBC News, Montreal.
And while we wait on the results of that investigation Diana mentioned, it's worth noting, of the 461 cases where someone died during an interaction with police, CBC could identify just 18 cases where criminal charges were laid against an officer. And of those, there were 2 convictions.
A reminder, you can get more of The National every afternoon. The National Today, our newsletter, takes you inside our journalism. We can go deeper on the stories you may have missed. Today was a look at Ireland's battle with blasphemy. Subscribe at cbcnews.ca/thenational. And if you're wondering why Adrienne isn't here tonight, there's a good reason. A short while ago, she was granted an honorary degree from Humber College in Toronto, recognizing Adrienne as an outstanding professional. She had encouraging words for graduates, including aspiring journalists.
Because the media world that's waiting for you is not shrinking. It is overflowing with different types of platforms that are begging to be filled with good stories told in ways we can't even comprehend now. And we need you. For those of you who are studying journalism, we need your skills to call out the lies and those who tell them and protect the truth with everything you have.
Within 5 minutes of meeting her, I was like, this dog's gonna be mine.
The barbers at the time didn't know how to cut my hair. I can feel it now.
I've been chasing this dream for so long in my life.
I made the team.
That's my baby!
You can do whatever you want as long as it makes you happy.
It was love at first bite. I said bite, right?
Super cool. It's friggin' super cool.
It's okay to date the crazy guys.
Tonight on The National, warnings of a deepening humanitarian crisis after a major new offensive in Yemen. Pro-government forces backed by Saudi Arabia are trying to capture the rebel-held city of Hudaydah. It's a big concern because it's a port city through which most of the country's humanitarian aid comes in. The UN Security Council is expected to discuss the situation tomorrow. Also tonight, a new study is raising the alarm about melting ice in Antarctica. Scientists found that ice is melting much faster than predicted, at a rate that's tripled in the last decade. They say it means that sea levels could rise 15 centimeters by the end of the century, and that would spell serious trouble for low-lying coastal communities. An exhibit featuring the work of world-famous street artist Banksy opened today in Toronto, but not without controversy. Police say they're investigating a report that one of the works of art was stolen. The collection on display is said to be worth $35 million. But worth noting here, the exhibit wasn't sanctioned by Banksy. His former agent is behind the show. And it's looking like there could be a political showdown over the legalization of marijuana. Some key legislative changes made by the Senate have been rejected by the federal government. One big issue, senators wanted to give provinces the right to ban people from growing pot at home, but the government doesn't want provinces to have that power.
We're making the changes to keep Canadians safe, and one of the strong recommendations by experts was that we ensure personal cultivation of 4 plants at home.
The House of Commons will debate and then vote on the revised legislation. Then it'll go back to the Senate for approval.
We learned earlier this evening of the passing of Gordon Smedley. You probably won't recognize his name, but he sure made an impression on those of us who met him. Gordon came to our Vancouver studio in fall of 2016. He had called us saying he wanted to talk about the ravages of fentanyl. He had just overdosed twice and spoke eloquently about addiction and the ever-present risk of death. Let's hear from him again in our moment.
As an addict buying off the street, you're dealing with a very, very low-level distributor of a finished product that you don't know where it came from. You have no idea.
Does it scare you?
It does, yes. But addiction is a pretty insidious disease, of which denial is a huge part. Like denial of the danger that I put myself in when I used dope. When the compulsion to use becomes stronger than the resistance to using, I can ignore damn near anything in terms of danger.
And Ian, you know, that is a perspective that is frightening. It's not uncommon among hard drug users also. And you think of the 1,200 people who died in this province due to illicit drug overdoses last year. According to the coroner, more than 1,000 of them took fentanyl. That's staggering, too.
So right after that interview, he was heading to the Sunshine Coast, trying to get away from Vancouver and especially trying to get away from the downtown east side. And I've thought of him often, wondered if he would manage to stay away. He didn't. It is the downtown east side where he returned and where he died, and he struggled right until the end with addiction. But, I mean, he was so eloquent, as I said earlier. And the other thing, Andrew, is so open that he was willing to come to us and speak and answer really any question we had. And I'm glad we had a chance to think about him tonight and remember him. That's the National for June 13th. Good night.
Good night.